The city now has an annual budget of more than $100 million. This is probably directed more at the three challengers than the incumbent, but the incumbent is welcome to respond to this as well. City now has an annual budget of more than $100 million. What experience do you have managing budgets? And we'll start with you, Tim.
Well, I've done a lot of, for 12 years on the City Council. I oversaw the Finance Committee, I was on the Legal Affairs Committee, and I worked closely with our budget analysts. In my jobs that I've had, whether working for the city as a department head, gave me valuable experience on how the city works, or working, again, for the City Council and seeing that those budgets time and time again, approximately 64%, including debt, it goes to the schools. You know, that's a big chunk of money. So that's a piece. You get 19% is to public services. So I have a pretty good idea on how the city operates. I mean, being there for 12 years, serving on the Finance Committee, and seeing budgets over and over again, I have a pretty good idea of how the city operates, and also managing budgets. I've been in a few jobs that have had to deal with managing budgets and staffing and just managing people and money. So I have no concerns with that whatsoever, especially the kind of extensive experience I've had. And also, it's about budgets, but it's also about trying to be creative. You know, it's one thing about accounting and being able to plug in the holes. Most of the budget is staff-oriented, but it's also trying to find innovative ways to try to cut costs and find revenue. And I think I've done that. I've proved that time and time again since I've been on the council.
Thank you. Mayor, would you like to talk about your budgeting
Well,
experience?
I think I'm the only one up here who has managed large budgets and large numbers of people and had direct experience with union negotiations. And I think the record here is quite good. Since I became mayor of this city, we have had 8 increases in our bond rating. That means that these agencies feel our ability to pay our debts has improved and improved. And once again, for the year that ended June 30th, we have come in on budget, slightly under budget, with the exception of snow and ice, which, as you probably all remember, was pretty tough last winter. So I do think when it comes to experience, qualifications, and successful management, I think I'm the one person who can say I've done it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mike?
Thank you. My experience in government, 10 years as your state representative, during which time I chaired a couple of significant legislative committees, the Committee on Human Services and Elder Affairs and the Committee on Housing and Urban Development. And collectively, excuse me, I had legislative oversight responsibilities for all the state agencies that reported to those committees, roughly 40% of the state budget. Today, in my day job today, I'm the executive director of a statewide organization. In my 7th year, I've prepared 7 budgets. The first 3 budgets, I cut budgets the first 3 years to the tune in total of about 33%. And the last 4 years in the current environment, the current economy, I've been able to level fund that budget. And I know that that my employers are very happy with the work I do for them and the way I manage their affairs. We all bring the experience we bring, but I can tell you today that this election and with all the doors I've knocked and all the people I've talked with this year, this election is more about where we are headed for the next 10 years. Beverly's in a good place, and we're in a perfect jumping off point to really embrace the future and to become the community that we can be. The community that we all have chosen to call home and build a life in, and that we love so much. This is a community with unrealized potential that needs a jump start, and it needs an open, inclusive leader who wants to bring the community to the table, shine the light on all we do, and tap all of the great human capital, all of the great talent that this community possesses to together govern ourselves.
Thank you. Rick?
Yeah, go into the past, with Mayor Scanlon, and this falls under Tim too, but the school was 28 years when he took over. I wouldn't let a school that's worth about $150 million just fall apart, that again held 2,700 students, which included 325 VOTEC students. This new school, which is $81 million, doesn't include this right here because this was a pre-existing structure. The track that we have, the indoor track and tennis courts, that's a pre-existing structure. The cafeteria, which we refurbished also, that already pre-existed. What we built was a little small school over here that only holds 1,277 students. That's a mistake that I would not have made. I would not have thrown the money away. I would have done the maintenance rather than buying the votes from the school, if you know what I'm talking about. Also, in my personal finances, I just refinanced my house about 15 months ago. Well, what I did was I put 1/3 of the principal down within 12 months. So the interest I was paying on the house went from approximately $85,000 down to about $23,000. Right there, I saved 60% of my interest, which, you know, with these bonds going to the trash. What we need to do is come up with some type of a conventional loan that the city can use. I'm going to take the fire truck, for example. That costed us $900,000. That was bonded out for 25 years from what I was told. It's going to cost us $1.6 million. Oh, I'll come.
Thank you. Thank you.
The fire
Bill,
truck's
go
10
ahead.
years.
Pardon me?
The fire truck is 10 years.
Okay.
That's state law.
Great. Anybody else?
Oh, do you have the interest on that we paid for the 10 years?
Not with me.
Okay.